Hello, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. Hit like, hit subscribe. This video, I'm going to just show how I've been using Echo lately. I'm just going to use the standard Ableton one. Obviously, you can use it with any Echo effect, and there's some really complex ones out there, third party, which can really push the boundaries of sound. I'm using it in a very simple way, just to get alterations of a hi-hat loop or a percussion loop. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw a generic hi-hat sound in there, hit record and just resample it as we go live. And what that's going to do is it's just going to give me a full recording of different possibilities I can use to then sort of pull my own samples out of. So it's nothing groundbreaking. It's just something I found I was doing probably the last 2 weeks, where throwing echo and delays on hi-hats is quite a common technique, just to get a variation, a bit of gallop, a bit of hop. But nonetheless, I thought it would be good to show you guys as well, because if we're not intentionally using it specifically just to get one type of texture or one type of pattern, let's say, by using a delay or an echo, and this can be used with a delay as well, I just wanted to record it in a longer setting to show how different we can get it. And as I said, because I'm not specifically trying to aim for a particular pattern, I am going to push it and use the feedback and stuff to see where we can go, and then take out of it what I want. So load it up, just the kick drum at 145. This sample, I've got Ableton Echo and I've got amp just on a rock setting, 20% dry, wet, nothing major. But this is just, take the echo off. Pretty standard. I just got it out of Ableton's samples. And of course you could do this with any sample. But nonetheless, so I've just thrown it straight out of the box from Ableton. Obviously it has presets, so all these different variations can give you so many different options as well. But I've just dragged it straight on there from there. So let's have a look. What I will do is hit record. I'll resample that. Alright, so we're resampling. I might just make it a bit more frequent so we're not waiting for audio. Let's have a look. So feedback. Change it to stereo from ping pong. Bring it down, bring the reverb. You can change it to pre. Take the filter off. And I'm just playing with it and just sort of finding feedback down, get a bit more subtle, bring the dry wet back up, reverb. Excuse me. Yeah, that's a bit more typical. Throw the amp on. A good one as well is unlinking the left and right channel and having different patterns on them can really fuck it up. but be conscious of your stereo field, because now it's going to start affecting left and right differently. It's got side information, which is fine. It's not exceeding the mid signal, but just be conscious of that. And I'm just trying to go triplet a bit faster. Put the mod delay on there. Now, what I'll do is, we've got this whole recording, right? So we can just pull it back and go all the way, all the way. All right, so I'll just fuck that first bit off. Now, we've got 2.5 minutes of recorded audio. So we can mute the top echo, leave it there, and then just run through this to sort of see. Now, we've recorded it in time, but due to the effects, it might sort of pull it in and out. So let's have a look. Already with that, I'd keep that loop and maybe keep that going, duplicate it throughout my project, because it's got that intensity built as it goes, right? Which can be effective. But that's the obvious one, right? But as we cycle through these, there's two things I'd do. I'd create like a hi-hat folder in my sample library, and I'd have a hits and a loops. So what I would do is I'd actually, you know, take this out, Command J, consolidate it, just so it consolidates that hit. Yeah, then I'd save that, right? But then going back to before, I would consolidate the loop, because it's got that sort of rise in it, and then drag that loop out and save that. And you can go as short or as long as you like. But what I'm really looking for, and I've done this in the past, if I choose a section that's pretty heavily processed and it's quite wet and we can't hear much of the original, what I will do is I'll leave the original in there, turn the effects off, and then I'll show you. What I'm looking for is the little signature sounds in between the dry hat. So that's more when we're rocking the reverb setting. But hear that shit there? This is where I'd start building sort of my own pattern. Now, I'm not going to put too much thought into where I'm placing these, but as an example, so that's there. Let's go back to here. And there's so much you can use. All those triplets and shit. Just play it all. Or I'd get something a bit more subtle than that to layer with the original dry hat. Or if I pick something that I really like, I might not use it at all. I'll just use the audio that I've resampled. You know, something like this would be good in a breakdown. But if we start consolidating shit, what you can do is you just sort of fade to duck that. Now don't forget, Now it might sound a bit odd, but I'm not looking to just get a generic hi-hat out of this. I want to create my own sort of weird but useful percussion. You know, something like this. I might even sidechain more aggressively, like that, and then duck it down in the mix a lot. Let's have a listen. Then if you want to bring your original sample back in, you could do that, but then, you know, you can move it off beat like a hi-hat, or however you're going to do it. It's going to start phasing, so it sounds weird. But, you know, that was a very quick run through. I only recorded for 2.5 minutes. But that whole concept of pulling out, if we go back to a drier part of the recording, let's fuck these off. Yeah, there's heaps you can consolidate and take out of that. Not to mention here, now that we've consolidated to audio, we can then process it accordingly. You know, you can EQ and even reverb and delay it further, depending on your taste and what you're trying to achieve. Envelope follower LFO can help a lot with that too. And going back into the original, 1 second, where did we go here? Going back into the original, if we go like this, don't forget we can automate everything. We'll just do them by hand as well. So if we get an envelope follower, we've got an LFO, we can sort of duplicate as many of these as we like, and then map the dry wet even. You can map anything you want really. You can go as aggressive, so we can even map the feedback for it, and then change all these settings as well. Change all your depths and rates. Change it back to notes. But then if it's getting too intense, just back off on the automation. You know, so you got control of the setting again. If we go here. Not to mention, I will do that. You can do that process for anything. Any sound. Or even then. Pitch that down. And see where that takes you. Let's go back up here. And then play with all your settings. So yeah, it's a very common thing that people do. It's not anything new, but I had been doing it like that the last couple of weeks, and I did find, you know, if I was hitting record for 5 to 10 minutes and being a bit more detailed with, you know, the parameters I was moving and then mapping some of the LFO stuff, I did find that it was really generating some really cool patterns and rhythms for percussion sounds. And then what I was doing was I'd sort of hit that sweet spot of a certain setting, and then I'll just replace that sample with a ride, snare, clap, hi-hat. So if I wanted to layer percussion, I could keep that same pattern but with different sounds, you know. So yeah, short and sweet. All I did was use echo and amp / distortion from Ableton. So you can do this with any echo or distortion or saturator you want. Yeah, short and simple, but I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. See you next week. Ciao.